For those who don't know, I'm Jared. My go-to guitar is this Guild Starfire train made. I got this, I think, 4 years ago now. I want to say 2018, 2019. I could pull up the date on the Reverbalist thing because I bought a theory for it. Now, beautiful guitar. I absolutely love it. Just love the Guild. Just give me a second. You've always been a fan of strange and weird, I guess you could say quirky guitars. And when I think of normal guitars, I think of stuff like Gibson, Fender, Martin, Taylor, Jackson. Yes, even as much as I despise the company, Ibanez. I considered Guild an oddball company. Now, I remember when I first saw the music video for Iris, the Goo Goo Dolls, and they had a great big Guild jumbo. I was just like, I like that. I want a Guild. I remember when I first started getting to Def Leppard, I started watching their old music videos. And I think it was Joe Elliott. I think it's Joe Elliott. Don't quote me. He also played a great big blonde jumbo Guild. Big inlays. It's quite the guitar. I think the song was, I don't want to say 2 steps behind, but I almost think it was 2 steps behind. So I was hooked on Guild for quite some time. And then I went to a trip and I got this book. I don't know can't remember what it was called. I have it somewhere. Something about famous guitars, and in it is a Guild Starfire. And I was like, I wanted that. That was like the Guild Electric for me to get, was a Guild Starfire. So many years later, I got my Guild. The thing is, when I got it, I hated the Guild. I hated almost everything about it. The music store I bought it from, I guess I found out afterwards, has a habit of ripping people off. They weren't going to ship me my guitar. In fact, I hounded them for a week straight. Eventually, they blocked my number, stopped answering emails. Then I got involved with Reverb, and guess after that, they shut the guitar out. But there is high frets everywhere. Dead spots. The guitar was unplayable. The pickups were microphonic. But they were thin. They were lifeless. They were just. It was terrible. And I debated on getting rid of the Guild, but at the same time, there was so much going for it. Like, it was a Guild. There is no Guild dealers in my end of Canada. Actually, there is no Guild. If you going from Ontario, Ontario is the last Guild dealer between them, and Newfoundland. Of course, being in the Maritimes, that falls under that no guild. So there's no way that I could return it, go to the store, return it. I was stuck with a defective, ultimately a defective guitar. And that bothered me a little. I played it for a few years. Eventually went in and got it set up, and it played amazing. It just wonderful. Just wow, what a difference the setup. Cost a lot of money to get the setup because there's that many frets that were bad. But it was still lacking. So I'm telling my friend, I said, I don't like the guild pickups. He came over and he basically, these shit. These pickups are garbage. They aren't worth anything. This thing shouldn't have left the factory. So I was looking, and I was like, I don't want to mod the guitar because I like it. So doing some searching, I found a red Starfire 5 with Tiarmans in them, and I asked, I said, hey, are these the direct fit? Did you have to mod them? They said, no, they fit directly. And I was going to go for the Tiarmans. Because Guild did have a signature model of a Starfire 5 that had them single coil Tiarman pickups in them back in the 60s. But I've always been a big fan of the Gretsch White Falcon. Again, I can't afford an White Falcon. That being said, I had to look up the songs that I like with the Falcons, and I realized the songs that I like that feature the Gretsch White Falcon, or any Gretsch that Filtertrons. I reached back out to the guy that had his guild, and he told me they were a Filtertron mount. So I got the Filtertrons, and I've never been sorry. They were expensive. I think $550 to ship them to my place. But worth every single penny. They're big, they're bold, they're clean. They can do rockabilly, they can do overdrive. They are quite a low output pickup. So I do have to run my amps a little hotter. If I wanted to be at the same volume level as, let's say, my Les Paul. But this is the oldest quite a guitar. And that's really the story about the guild and how the guild came to be, and yeah, so this is how I got my guild. This is how the guild became like it is, and now it's a Gretchified guild. Have the sound of that fabulous White Falcon, the looks of the legendary Guild Starfire 5, and I have less than what it retails for. Invested in it. That's how much of a discount I got on it. So I originally wanted a red, but I figured over half price off. Who cares what color it is? That's the story of my guild. So, this is my Les Paul. This is the story of Rosie. It is an Epiphone limited edition inspired by Gibson Epiphone Les Paul 50 Standard. Now, it's a translucent cherry finish with a flame maple top. You can kind of see it. Mahogany back, pretty basic. Paul Ferro pickguard. I actually kind of like the Paul Ferro. Not a bad feeling wood on the fingers. This one actually has the 59 boat neck profile, and that's what kind of drawn me to it because for Les Paul, I like a big neck on a Les Paul. I like some hefty weight. This thing is 10.8 pounds. It's not a light guitar, not meant for gigging. Thankfully enough, I don't do next to any shows. I haven't actually been out and played in front of anyone in a really long time. But I've been looking for a guitar for Les Paul. It was roughly 2015. I actually probably a little earlier, be earlier than that. So I got a Les Paul. My first Les Paul was an Epiphone LP100, bolt-on neck. I lent it to someone. That was a mistake. They traded it for a PlayStation. And ever since then, I was looking for a Les Paul, but nothing really seemed to fit. Nothing really felt proper. Just didn't. I'm not blaming that because a friend in 2015 let me try out a 79 Les Paul Custom. And I'll tell you, that thing was big, it was chunky, it had a nice neck on it. It was nice. I know a lot of people, they hate the Norland era, but it was the nicest Les Paul I've ever played. There's nothing that comes close to it that I've ever played. Even guitar-wise, I don't know if there's anything the caliber of that Les Paul Custom that I laid my hands on. And the guy even let me play his 73 Strat and Telecaster Custom. Like, just crazy collection he had. Now there's 32 Charlie Christian ES 150 Gibson. But back to this. When I walked into the store, I saw the red. I'm a sucker for a red guitar. A red Les Paul, oh my word. Don't get me started. So, I was automatically drawn to this specific Les Paul, but I tried all the other Les Pauls, and honestly, they felt like trash. The necks weren't as nice. They found them really thin. There wasn't any meat to them. Didn't find them heavy enough. And I tried this one. It was like, whoa, the weight is there, just like in that old 70s Les Paul. It had that weight, and it's like, I like this. Play the neck's like, wow, this has a relatively girth-free neck, as Greg Crouch, whoever his name was saying. It got lots of girth. That guy's funny. If you haven't looked him up, look him up. He's quite funny. I think he's on TikTok. So I bought it and got it home, played it, played it. I love the neck on it, but it was missing something. It was missing a Bigsby. I can be a heavy Bigsby user. I was always grabbing for a Bigsby, and there was no Bigsby. So I didn't want to spend the money on a USA Bigsby, so I bought this thing off Amazon. It's basically a Bigsby B700. It has a spring out of a USA Bigsby because because the knockoff spring was like this, like just massive. And that I really like the look of the Les Paul Classic in transparent red, and it has some reflector knobs, like the chrome reflector knobs. So I bought a set, and surprise, they didn't fit. They're for Gibson. So I reached out to Carparelli Guitars in Ontario, and they sent, and I don't want to say they sent me, they kind of did, but I paid for them, a set that would fit my Les Paul. But you know what? I want zebra pickups. That was more of a life thing, because I didn't hate the pickups and the Les Paul. Actually, they weren't bad, but they weren't great. So, doing some research, talked to several companies. I really wanted a T-top, just like that old 70s. But with this being a 50s Les Paul standard, I didn't want to go away from that 50s, that whole 50s vibe. So, I got in contact with Greg Vineham, and I came up with the idea of having a 59 in the next, 259. 6070, which is a T-top replica. So you have your 59 PAF style pickup, had implied for in the neck, and a T-top to the bridge. Just a wonderful combination. If you want to know, this is the combination that Jimmy Page was using in his Les Paul in the 70s, because his pickup gave out and the tour, so they went and they bought a T-top and they wired it up. So it's essentially a Jimmy Page set. So what they were using back in the Zeppelin days. I don't find anything wrong with the tuners. The tuning capability is actually pretty good. Now, I would not say that this beats some of the Les Paul classics I played. The Gibsons anyways, but I am really satisfied with this Chinese-made Epiphone. The electronics, the pots and stuff, they're all the same. It's just the pickups have been changed and a knockout bass beat been thrown on. And I have a guitar I can play for hours on end. Just nice, big, thick, rich 50 style pickup. And that bright, kind of hotter T-top. So this is my 69 inspired walnut Telecaster. I called it Operation Underdog because I did not use any big companies like Nolan McQuaid, Magician Friends, Cosmo, and stuff like that. Just small builders. The body I custom ordered from Tone Bomb and Alberta. Same with the neck. Look how big that neck is. That's one thick neck. It's a true definition of a baseball neck. Vintage Fender U, but a whole lot fatter. So, a little bit about this. Put together this guitar in 2018. Took me 9 months to do so. I did it on a very limited budget. The body and the neck come from a company called Tone Bomb. Now, they sent me construction pictures, so I have pictures of this thing from when it was the planks of wood, what it is now. It's really kind of cool to go back and look at the photos. Now, like I said, this is walnut. The pickguard is actually Pau Ferro, made by my friend Andrew. I don't know if Andrew's still making guitars, but he used to make guitars back in 2018, but I don't know how big it was, but fantastic craftsmanship. Like, what a beautiful pickguard. The neck is walnut. Fretboard is Madagascar ebony. Andrew also ordered me in my USA made Bigsby, my Vibermate, my knobs, the Graphtec ratio locking tuners, little itty bitties. Andrew was actually really great for that. Like, just I can't even begin to think or yeah, it was just Andrew was great. It has Charler locking tuners, not tuners, strap locks. The other pieces are actually on a guitar strap that I leather stamped my initials in. Now, what can I say? The pickups are custom order pickups from a company called Dark Moon Pickups in the little town of Brooklyn of New York. Little town. Brooklyn's quite I haven't been to Brooklyn, but I imagine it's quite a bigger than the town that I'm from. It's vintage output pickups because I'm not a fan of an extremely hot pickup. I like quiet. So it's a vintage staggered bridge pickup, Alnico 3 bridge pickup, and a vintage staggered Alnico 2 pickup in the neck. The switch is it's actually broken, so I think I'm either only getting the neck pickup, or only getting that, or maybe I'm getting both. Like, it's totally screwed up. It fell, and it landed face first like that. And I'm like, oh! But it still played, and I guess I've neglected getting a new switch. But there is a Jerry Donahue 5-ray switch. When it's up like this, you have your neck, tone. Your neck, your tone. Okay. Neck, no tone. Neck with your tone. Middle position is, I can't remember if this is middle position 1, which is your bridge. No, the bridge, this is middle position 1, which is a normal bridge and neck pickup. This one here is your bridge and neck pickup out of phase. And then all the way back is your standard bridge. But like I said, it's really messed up right now, so the options, they're not really working. Now, how did I come to make Operation Underdog? Well, I used to have an Ibanez. There go that magical word, an Ibanez. An Ibanez Telecaster Custom, Walnut Telecaster Custom. It was a nice guitar. I paid next to nothing for it. I got next to nothing for it when I sold it. Actually, I can't remember what I traded it for, but the fella, yeah, just I can't remember. It's been so long. But I've missed my Telecaster, and I eventually got a 52 reissue Japanese JV Squire, and I stupidly traded it for the a Hagstrom Deuce F, which I absolutely hated. So a few years came around, and I said, screw it. I want something different. I ordered in the pieces. The pieces were completely unfinished, so I had to finish them. I originally had a gloss finish on this, but something happened and it did not set properly. It was all gushy and gooey, so I had to sand it all down. Then I had to do it all over again. So we're just done with the satin finish. Like it's just like so smooth. It's a beautiful piece of wood. Just I couldn't have asked for better. Just look at that. Now the neck profile is a early 50s Fender U neck profile. Only thing is .99 at the first fret. It's literally a monster. I had a 64 Harmony Rocket, and you put the two guitars side by side, and I kid you not, this Telecaster, the neck is twice as thick as the Harmony Rocket. I thought I knew what I wanted. I thought I knew what it was talking about, and I learned that I didn't. So this is a true definition of a baseball neck. And I guess that's why I like the Les Paul so much, is because for years I played on a great big thick old Telecaster neck. But yeah. I also, like I said, with the Guild, I liked the Gretsch, so that's why I got the Bigsby, and I was hooked on Bigsby ever since. So that's the story of Operation Underdog. So, I'm back. So this is my Sigma OM45. OMR45. It's based off of a Meriden OM45. This is my newest guitar. I needed something that could replace my old Takamine, and Well, I saw this. I've always been a Martin fan. It was on like a $300-400 discount, so I went up and I grabbed it. And I must admit, it's not a bad sounding guitar. It's like I can't remember how that goes. So this is made out of a Sitka spruce top. It has rosewood back and sides, fake Albinoni inlay all over the place. Like it's crazy. The octagon inlays, the hanging strings, the mahogany neck, go over tuners. Now I haven't played this in about a week or two. It is still in tune, so tuning is great. Playability for an acoustic, I think it's good for an acoustic. Is it as low as the electric? No, it's not as low as the electrics, but for an acoustic, I think it's great. There is no pickup, but that's okay. The reason every guitarist needs an acoustic is for them days that the power is out. And you want to jam, you have no powers, and when you live in Atlantic Canada, we can get some snow. And it is a possibility that you can lose your power for a week or so. And if you play guitar for pastime, that's okay. But if you play guitar for a de-stressor, and you go a week without your de-stressor, no power, then yes, there might be some issues there. So I did get this case of that. If you want to go out camping, nice little acoustic is great. Don't really know what to say about the Sigma because I didn't have it. Didn't have it long enough to really have any opinions. Like I've only had it for the last month or so. Where the Epiphone I had since June or July. But I do enjoy it. It's an OM body. The OM is basically the same body size as a Grand Auditorium. For a smaller body guitar, it's loud, like I can't remember how to play that. Can't remember how to play anything half the time. But yeah, it's just a nice little acoustic. It just I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember anything. But yeah, I do like it. And again, it's gone. But this is the Sigma. Um, this Sigma is not a Japanese-made Sigma. It is sadly a Chinese-made Sigma. But I've learned the last couple of years that the Chinese guitar manufacturing has gotten a lot better within the last 10, 15 years. Like, when I first started, the Chinese guitars were junk. And I know some of you were probably thinking, when I first started, we wish we had the guitars that you had when you started. And just like I could say, I wish I had the guitars that you guys started with when I started. Like, as time progressed, the manufacturing qualities, the standards, they all increase. So the perfect example is Japanese. The Japanese made guitars in Japan. When you look at the 50s and the 60s, Japan made guitars, they were absolutely trash. And now, if you want some of the best quality guitars, it's not USA. It's not America anymore. It's Japan. Like Gretsch, a White Falcon. The infamous White Falcon is not USA made. It's made in Terada in Japan. You have Carpison guitars. You have Fujijin, which actually have their own like brand of guitars. You have Terada. You have the Fujijin plant. You also have, my brain just went blank. Don't know how to say it. I want to say Bacchus. Then you have your actual Bernie's, Tokai's, Ibanez, and stuff like that. And it's just, Japan is great. And Chinese is not in, but you have great companies from China to look at Sigma, look at Eastman, and I actually don't know a whole lot of Chinese companies because I've been so ignorant to the fact that Chinese manufacturing is not all junk anymore. Just because you see a guitar and you see China in it, don't discount it as a good guitar because it could be a piece of trash, but it may be the one. It just may be the one.